Hello everyone, it's John from IT Skills Academy, and I take this opportunity to welcome you back to IT Skills Academy. Today I bring to you part 3 of how to create a password reset system using PHP and MySQL. In our previous video, we wrote the script that will help us to send a password reset link to a specific email address, where I explained this step by step. If you're seeing this tutorial for the first time, I would encourage you to first of all watch part 1 and part 2 of this specific tutorial so that you have an understanding of what we are doing. I'll provide a link in the description of this video, so you can first of all go and watch those 2 videos and then come to this. And so if you have been following this tutorial, today what we'll be doing is we'll be creating the password reset page. This is where now a person will provide the a new password, and then thereafter they are going to log in. Remember, at this point we have already verified that they are the real owners of the account by sending a password reset link to their specific email address, and for them to get to the reset page, they are coming from the specific email address. So here we are just going to request them to provide the new password, and then we are going to insert that into the database, and that now will mean that they will be able to log in into the account, and that will mean that they'll have successfully reset the password. So what we're just seeing here is the forgot password, but I'll just head on to the specific email address. This is where we sent the password reset link. As you can see, we have an email here that contains the password reset link, and for us now to go to the reset page, we have to come from the email. Like, we have to click a link on the email. Basically, that is the link that was sent into our email. That means you will not be able to access this page if you don't have the link sent to you. So as you can see here, I have this email. It says, "Hello Jay Mulethi, someone requested to reset your password. If this was you, click here to reset your password. If not, just ignore this email." So I'll just click on this link here, and upon clicking on that link, I'm taken to this page, the reset password page, and this is the page that we'll be working on today. I have the HTML part of it already done, and so what we'll just be doing in today's tutorial is the PHP part of it. So here you will be required to enter your new password and also confirm it and recover the password. And basically what will happen in the background is now the new password will be replaced. The new password will replace the old password in the database, and that now will mean that you'll have successfully reset your password, and now you can be able to use your new password to log in into your account. So we're just going to head on to the script that is into Visual Studio, where we'll see the reset.php, and this is just the HTML part of it. As I mentioned, the HTML part of it is already done, and what we just do here is to provide the PHP that will add some life into this page. So as you can see here, we have the basic form having an action of none for now. The method is post and we have the fields new password and confirm password. So the first thing that we want to do here is we want to get the email address of the person who is resetting this account, or the password of this account, and we also want to get the key. If you can remember, in our previous video we created a key that we stored in the database, and this key is just for security purposes, just to ensure that whoever is resetting the password is the real owner of the account. So we want to get the email address and this specific key, and if you can clearly remember, we passed these two, that is the email address and the key, via the link. And so here what we're just going to do is to get or to use the get method to be able to acquire this email and the key, and we are going now to use these two to be able to know which account we are resetting the password. And so without so much ado, let's just do that. Basically what I'll start with is have the PHP opening and closing tags here, and so now inside here I'm going to have the if statement, and the condition will be if is set get method, and here what we are getting is the mail. Sorry, this should be in single quotes, and we want this email to be in its light format. So what we're just going to do outside the first parenthesis is we're just going to come and say and we're going to have the flag match, so here we're just going to have some characters. This just helps us to have the email in the light format. Yeah, so we needed to have those characters there so that we can get the email in its light format. And also remember that our email is encrypted, so we should also be able to decode it. So that's why we also have the base64 decode there. So let's now try to get the email here, or basically try to decode the email. So down here I'm just going to come and have a variable called mail, or we can call it email. So we say base64, and that's called the code. Yeah, and we should add that with a semicolon. So basically we just want to store the email in this specific variable, and should be decoded, so we should now be seeing the real email address and not those and not the encrypted one. Now remember, we also want to get the key that we have already stored in the database and that we are passing through the link. So for that we are going to have another if statement here. So I'll just come and say if is set, and remember we are getting it through the get method, so I'm just going to come and say get, and here we are getting the key. So in single quotes I'm going to have the key, and remember the key is encrypted, and it is encrypted using the MD5. So the activation key will always be 32 since it is MD5 hash. So for that we need to come and add this line of code here. So we need to come and say and open and close parenthesis string, and we come and have the get method here, and what we are getting is the key. and we are going to set this to be equal to 32. This is because the activation key will always be 32, since we have hashed it using the MD5 hash. So I'm just going to say is equals to 32, and now the code inside that if statement will be that the key. So we are like creating a variable called key to store our key, and this will be equal to a get key. And finally, we're just going to come and say if is set email or the mail and is set the key. Yeah, so the code for that specific if statement, remember the if statement will have the codation and the code. So now the code now that we're going to have, if we have gotten the email and the key. So first of all here, because we want to have some HTML, we're going to sort of terminate the PHP. So I'm just going to come and say question mark. So just terminate the PHP and also start it. So have the opening and closing PHP here. And of course we should have the closing, so can just come and have something like that. And so now our code will appear inside here. So this happens whenever you want to include some HTML code within PHP. So basically what we just want to have here is a success message, a response to the user that yes, the password was reset successfully, or if otherwise we want to tell the user that the password was not reset successfully, maybe because the email did not match, or the key maybe did not match, or something happened. So remember, we are doing we will be resetting the password if the email and the key are matching. So if we can be able to get them, if we can be able to get the email and the key, and that if we can be able to match that with what we have in the database, that is only when we will be able to like successfully reset the password, and we are going to have a success message on the reset password page telling the user that that was done successfully, and otherwise it was not done successfully, or it was unsuccessful. So we'll first of all come and include the reset underscore inc. So this is a page that we have not yet created. It is the page that will have the script, of course, that will now help to update the password. So we have not created that, but we're just going to include it here. So I will just come and say include, and so it is outside this page, so I'll just say dot forward slash, so it will be within the validate folder, and we'll call it reset underscore inc.php. so we'll be creating this in a second. So now that we have included that, in this reset underscore inc.php, we'll be having a session that will help us to know whether the reset password was successful, or that is the password was updated successfully. So with the help of that, we can now be able to have the success or the failed message on the reset.php. So to be able to grab that session that will be created in the reset underscore inc.php, to be able to grab it in the reset.php, we're going to come and have the if statement, and we'll just come and say session, and that session itself that we have not yet created, remember, we'll be creating it in the reset underscore inc.php. That session will be called success, and this message that we're about to write here will only appear if the session named success will be equal true. So if it will be equal true, we're going to see the success message, and if it is equal false, we're going to see the fail message. So now let's write the code if it is equal true, and we're just going to come and echo, and so here we are going to have the opening and closing div. So let me just have this one down here, yeah, something like that. So I'll just come and have the HTML now here. So I'll have the opening div and the closing one. We'll be styling it in a second, but let's just have some content inside it. So one of the things that we're going to have inside it is a button. So this will just be the button that will be closing the message. We'll also be styling the button later. Let's just have some content in it. So the content within the button, of course, will just be the close symbol. So I'm just going to come and have a span here. So open and close the span. So inside here we're just going to come and have that X. So just have it like that. So that will be our button, and now the message will be password reset successfully. Sorry, we can just come and say password successful. Sorry, this should be successful. So that will be the message. That will be the message. And of course now if the password was reset successfully, we now want to redirect the user to the login page so that they can be able to log in with the new password now. So for that, I'm creating a link here that a person can be able to click and they are redirected to the login page. So href will be equal to, so the page itself is the index.php. So I'm just going to come and say index.php, and here of course we're just going to come and call it login. And yeah, this should still be within this. Sorry, all of this should be within a span. So I'm just going to get rid of it first and then have the span. So we should now have all that contents within this span here. Yeah, like that. So this will just be the link within this div that a person can be able to click to now go and log in with the new password. And we should also not forget to cross this with a semicolon, and also we can also include the unset session. This just to like unset the session if a person is like refreshes the page. We should get rid of the message password reset successful, because we don't always want to have it there. We want to just have it for a few seconds, or as long as the user wants to keep it there, and then after refreshing the page we get rid of it. So for us to be able to unset the session, we'll come and say unset, into parentheses we have the session name, so that will be session. Yeah, so all that will happen. So let us recap here. So we have just said that if we are able to get the email and the key, and it matches what we have in the database, then now we are able to, using a session, show the user a password reset a successful message. This will be if the session that we have set will be equal true, and it will be equal true if we are able to successfully update the password that we have in the database. And this of course will mean that the user will have filled the new password and confirmed the new password, and that, as I've mentioned, is updated in the database. But that will not always be the case. Sometimes it will happen that the process was not successful, and so we want to be able to capture this and tell the user that it was not successful. So that's why now below the form here we're going to come and have another line of PHP code that will help us now to like get that failed message. So we're just going to come and have the PHP opening and closing tags. So PHP opening and closing tags, and here we're just going to come and have the closing parentheses. Remember, this closing parentheses here is the one that we have opened on top here. Let me just show you that. So this that is for the if it's set the email and the key, if you're able to get that. So if that was successful, that's when we are executing this line of code, and if it was not, then we are coming down here to show that else, so I'm just going to come and say else, and now I'm going to have the line of code, and this will just again be some HTML code. So I'm just going to come and say echo. So I'm going to have some single quotes here and close them. I'll terminate that with a semicolon. So I'm going to come and have the div, and I should also close it here. And here we want to come and have a message, and this reminds me that we have not styled our div that we have on top here. We will be doing that in a second, so we'll be styling this as just for just to make it appear nicely. So it's not like we should do it, but of course it's good to have it in a presentable way. So we're just going to inside here have the message, so that is the failed message, so this will be inside the span. And so inside here we are just going to come and have the message, so we can just say oops, an error occurred, or try to reset the password. Yeah, so just that, so we should just have it like that. So let's, before we forget, to style this. So we're just going to give it a class of alert danger, should be absolute, and we also want the contents to be centered, so we say text center, and we're going to have it with a lol of alert. So just that, and we're just going to come and collect all of this, and I want to have it in our first div. So in the first success message that we have here, but now instead of this being danger, it will be success. We'll also style the span here, so we're just going to come and say area and also the button, so you should have a type of button. we're also going to have it with a class of close, and data dismiss. So we are also going to come and style this span here. So we're just going to come and have a class is equals to, this should be text dej. And for this one it should be text success. Yeah, and that's it. So we now want to test this code and see if we're able to get the key and the email. So for that we have two input fields here that are hidden for now, and what I'll just do is to have a value, and within the value we're going to echo the password and the email. So I'm just going to come and say value is equals PHP opening and closing tags, and I'll just come and echo the email, and I should also echo the key in the next one here. So this should be the key. Yeah, remember we are able to echo them here because we stored them in those specific variables, as you can see, for the email and for the key. So that's why now we can be able to confidently come and echo them here. And I'm also going to change this from hidden to text so that we can see it. So text, yeah, and that's it. So let's try to reset that. So I'm going to head on to the email and click that link again, because this way we'll be able to pass the key and the email. So I'll click on this link and as you can see from the link just down here is that we have the mail being equal to, it is encrypted so you cannot be able to see it. I don't know why I'm missing it here. Yeah, we have the mail and we also have the key having some various characters. That's because they're encrypted so we cannot be able to see that, but we'll be able to pass that through the link and get those now in our reset password. So I will just come and ignore this one. Oh, and we have a problem on line 71. Let's see what the issue is here. Oh, sorry, we don't have the if it's set. So this one should check whether the session was set. We just went direct to the session here. And so that tree, and we should also close it here, and we should also have this one because it's a string, should have it in double quotes. Okay, we got another problem here, but still you can now see that we are able to get the error, an error occurred while trying to reset the password is because we are not able to get the either the email address or the key. So that is on line 56. Let's try to see that on line 56. We load the long thing. Okay, let's see, should we have this as mail or email? Get mail. Yeah, so now we are able to get the email here, as you can see, and also the key. That is very, very important. Yeah, so the only problem is that we have this path here because we don't have the reset underscore int.php. That's why it is sort of giving us a problem, because we have not yet included or created the reset underscore int.php. So when we create that, then automatically we'll be able to get rid of this, because now it is like trying to help us to get the message here. But if we can just come and maybe hide that, let's try to hide that and see. So that is this line here. So maybe I can just come and hide it like this, or just comment it out. That's what I'll do. Yeah, so that one is the only one that is giving us the issue here, because we have not yet created it. So if I refresh the page, then now we should, I'm sure we should be able to get rid of it. Yeah, so we're able to get rid of that, as you can see. But we will still need to include it when we create that. So now that we're able to get the email and the key, then it means that we can now be able to go ahead and provide the new password and the confirm password. Alright, now here I am on the Visual Studio Code. I'm on the reset.php page, and you can see we had commented this out, and we're just going to get rid of it now because we will need it. So just get rid of the comments, and we now want to come and create this page, the reset underscore inc.php. So this is the page that will contain the script that will help us to update or reset the password. Now that we have every understanding that the person who is resetting the password is the authorized person or the owner of the account. So I'll just click on validate here and then create a new file. And I'll just call it reset underscore inc.php. And so now before we do that, remember we want to be able to get the new password. We also want to get the key, and we also want to get the email address. Of course, we're going to pass this using the post method, because as you can see here, we have the form, and through the form we can be able to pass information from one page to another. We're going to use the post method because it's the recommended way, or the way that you can be able to pass, one of the ways that you can be able to pass information from one page to another. So we want to be able to grab the email, the key, and also the new password. So for that we need to, as it is required, come and have here name. This should be in small letters, name, and we're going to set that to be equal to new. This just the new password. You can give it any name, and now down here we're also going to include a name here. So this will now help us to grab the email. So I'll just come and say email, and we're also going to have another one here that will help us to get the the key. And also just before I forget, we also need to get the confirm password, because we also need to know whether the new password provided is matching, because we want to make sure that the user knows the password they have inserted. So we will need to have them inserted twice. So for that we need to confirm if they are matching. So I'm also going to come and have confirm here. You can have any names that you so wish to have there. So that is very, very important if you are to pass information through the post method. So now that we have that, we can head on to the reset underscore inc.php, and here of course we'll just be dealing with pure PHP. So we're just going to come and have the opening PHP tag, and we're not going to bother with the closing one. And the first thing that you need to do here is to connect to the database. So for that, for us to be able to do that, we're just going to come and require the con.php. And now that we have the database connection, we want to come and set the new of, let me just put it like this, we're just going to create a variable, call it a new, and set it to be equal to confirm. So this is to mean that the two should be the same, like they should match. So the confirm password as we're getting started should be empty. So I'm just going to come and say confirm is equals to empty. Yeah, so we are assigning the new password to be equal to confirm, and the confirm password currently is empty. Now we want to get this information, that is the new password, the confirm password, the email, and the key. And of course we're going to get that using the post method. So we're just going to create a variable called new again and set that to be equal to, I forgot a very important thing, that is the if statement, because we want to only get this information if the submit button is set, like if it is clicked. So we need to come and say if is set, and it is the post method. So just going to come and have post, that is if the submit button is clicked. Yeah, and now with that we can be able to come and have the information stored in variables. So the first one will be new. You can have any name, and how I like doing it is grabbing the whole of this. So here we say is equals, and then I paste that, and then I change this to new. Remember, this is the name that we gave to that input where the new password will be placed. So we add that with semicolon. I'll duplicate that because we want to have the confirm, we want to have the email, and we want to have the key. So I'm just going to rename this to confirm, and I also have that here. This one will be the email, and this will be the key. Yeah, and that's it. So maybe before we continue, I would like to see if you're able to get that information. So I can just come and say echo, and I can echo the new, I can echo the confirm, I can also echo the email, and also echo the key. Let me also have some breaks here, so I can also come and echo a break here. So we have spaces in between the information here. Let's test that. So we come and provide the new, before we confirm that, we need to also make sure that the reset is when a person clicks on the submit button, we are taken to the reset_inc.php. So I need to get back to the reset.php, and on the form here, now we need to come and have the, where is that form? To look for the form here. So here the action. So this one should take us to the reset. So we should now move out of the validate and go to pages, and inside the pages we're going to see so we should get out of the pages, that is the pages folder, so we can now be able to get to the validate. So I'm just going to come and say period / validate, and here we want to go to the reset underscore inc.php. So it's basically what we have here. So it's basically the same. So even with the inclusion there, I think it can also work, but let's just have it there. So this now will mean that when we click on the submit button down here, that is the recover password, we should be taken to this page, and that is now where we want to be able to see if the information that we're going to enter here, the new password, I'm entering it here, we're able to see it on the reset underscore inc.php. So I'm just having it shown like this just for test purposes, but it should be hidden like this. We have these two, we're also going to hide them, but let's first of all try to see if our code is working as we would expect. So it's refreshing that. Okay, now what will happen is that we're going to find these errors appearing here, but this is because we have let me just show you here in a second. This is because we have included the reset underscore inc.php on our reset.php. And now by including that, it means that when we just go to the reset underscore inc.php, and in the reset underscore inc.php we don't have a redirection, like we don't have a page where we should go if it is if the reset process is successful, or if it is not successful, then you're going to find that we'll be taken back to the reset.php, and by that we are now going to be able to get the information as we need. Now we are able to see these errors here just because of a deliberate thing that we have done. Let me just explain what is happening. So if we go to the reset.php, you see we have included the validate or the reset underscore inc.php, which is this page here. This page here, as it stands right now, we don't have a redirect, like we have not told the code where it should go. So for that case, by default it just goes back to the reset.php by default, and because we have included this and it was some sort of a refresh, we are not able to get the information, but remember we have this one here, so that we can be able to have the session that we have not created in the reset.php or the reset underscore inc.php. So it is when we create the session that we'll be able to resolve the problem, and that we'll be able to get the values, that is the email, the password and all that. But as it is started right now, we'll always see these errors that we are seeing here. And to prove what I'm saying, we can maybe get rid of these, the inclusion of the reset_inc.php. we get rid of it, and then we try to see if we can be able to get the information. So I'm just going to come and provide the new password. So that is 123, and then let me just refresh it first. Let me just refresh it. And now I'll provide the new password, and I'll hit on recover. Remember, we have removed that line that was including the reset_inc.php, and now you can see, be able to see the new password, the confirmed password, the email, and also the key. That means now we can be able to insert this information into the database. So this is happening because we have not included the reset_inc.php on our reset.php. So we have removed that from here, but we need to have it there. So let me just undo that and have it there. So I just wanted to do that so that I can see if I'm able to pass the information that I need, that is the new password, the confirmed password, the email and the key, if I'm able to pass them from the reset.php to the reset_inc.php. And now that I know that I am able to pass that successfully, then I can now go ahead and try to just verify a few things and then insert the information into the database. So hoping that that is clear, and if it is not clear, then you can leave your questions in the comment section below, and I'll be more than ready to respond to them. So now that we know we are able to get that information, let's try to validate a few things. So for that, I'm going to come and have an if statement, and here what I want to do with if statement is I want to first of all test to see if the new password was inserted or provided. So I'm just going to come and say if, and the condition here will be if we don't have anything on the new, that is, if like we try to get the new password and we cannot be able to get it, then we're going to come and echo and inside here we're going to, of course this will be in what we call an alert message. So we're going to have a button to close that success message, although we can be able to unset because it will be some sort of a session or something. So I'm just going to come and have a button here, and here the message will be enter new password. So I'm going to have that within a span, So we're going to tell the user to kindly enter the new password. So this will happen if the user tries to reset the password and they have not provided the new password they need to replace with the old password. Let me just tile this before I forget. So the type here will be button, and it will have a class of close. So data dismiss, and that should be equal to alert, and also the role should be alert. Okay, so now that we have that, I think we are done there. Yeah, but of course finally we also need to have something within this button. So in fact this message should be outside the button, should not be within the button. So I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to have it inside or down here outside the button. So here what we're just going to have is the crossing symbol, that is the X, and we're just going to have it with area hidden. So this will happen if the user tries to reset the password and they have not provided the new password. Okay, now after that, else, if the new password is there, we also want to see if the confirm password is also provided as well. So this is optional. You may want to have these validations or fail to have them, but it's important just to ensure that the user doesn't enter empty stuff. So we're just going to repeat the same thing that we have on top there. So this will be if the confirm like if we don't have anything in the confirm, then we can be able to come and echo. So, and we just echo the information similar to what we have on top there, but we're just going to come and change this. Kindly enter the confirm password. Kindly enter the confirm password, and then finally else, if we're able to get all that information, therefore the other thing that we want to do is not to confirm if the new password matches the confirm password. So again we're going to come and say if, and the condition will be if new is not equal to confirm, then again we should echo a message that is the new password do not match the confirm password. So we're just going to have the same information just like we have on top there. and we're just going to change the message to password did not match. Password did not match. Else, if the password matched, we now want to hash this password. We want to encrypt the password so that as we enter it into the database, it is encrypted. So we'll come and say else, and we're just going to come and now say else, and we're going to come and have a new variable now, call it a pass, and then this one will be equal to password. So we just encrypting the password using the password underscore default feature here, and this is basically how you hash a password. So, and we'll not be using the old method, the MD5, because I think it's outdated. So we're just going to use this one, the password default. So I'm just going to come and say new. So I'm hashing what we have in the new variable, which is the password. And here I'm going to come and say password underscore default. Yeah, now that we have our password hashed, we now want to insert that information into the database, and we are just updating the password, remember, not anything else, but it should be where the email is, the email address that the user provided. So if they are not matching again, then we are not going to update it, because it means it's not the person who is updating the password is not the real owner of the account. So this is just for security purposes. So we're going to come and have the SQL set this to be equal to we need to come and say update, and we are updating the table called users. This is where we have all this information, and we want to set like closing it like that, and then having the information down here, setting the pass to be equal to the pass that we have on top there. And sorry, this should be in single quotes, if I forget, like so. And then we should have a comma there, because we also want to have the activation key. So remember, we inserted the activation key in this column called activation, but now upon activating or not activating, upon resetting the password, we want now to remove the activation key and set it to null. And all this should be happening where the mail is equals to the mail provided, so like what we have on top here. So we should always be trying to check the email all through. But remember, we passed this information via the link, so it should not be a problem if you got it right from the moment you started this. Then it should be correct all through. But here we just want to make sure that we are updating the right column in the database. So this should be where the email is equals to email. Yeah, so I just noticed that we have a problem here. This should be else if. Yeah, and it should not just be else. And remember, we have a difference between else and else if. So I'm just going to get rid of this. Let me see where we are closing that. Otherwise it will give us problems, so we should get rid of this. And also this, so that now this one is else if, and like that. Same case to this one. We are always using the else if and not else, so I should also get rid of that. So it should be else if, like that. And then now finally we should have the else, yeah, like that. So that is very, very important, otherwise it will not work. So we are using the if else, else. Okay, so now here we are now going to come and create a variable called less. You're going to just have the MySQL query. So MySQL li underscore query, and here we're going to have the variable con and the variable SQL. So now here we're going to test if the connection to the database is right and if we inserted the data successfully into the database. So we'll come and have an if statement and say if res is equal true, then we are now going to come and create the session. Remember the session that is always giving us the problem, and that is requiring us to include the validate the reset underscore inc.php. So this session here that I promised you that we are going to create, then it is the one that we are about to create here. That is when we have successfully updated the password. So I'm going to come and create the session here, and the session, of course, as I mentioned, will be called success. And here we will say if it is equal true, and now we're going to do the redirection. So we say header, and the location is the login page, which is the index.php. And now after that we're going to have an else statement. If all that is not successful, we want to tell the user that it didn't happen successfully, so we need tell the user that your account could not be activated. Yep. Please check the reset the link, because maybe the link didn't provide you with the right email address, and for that reason we could not update. So else, and we're just going to come and have this echo here, and we're just going to change this, and we'll change this to this message. Oops. Your account will not be activated. Please check the link or contact the administrator. Yeah, and of course this one should be alert danger, and we also need to make sure that we have the same, I think, here. Right, and I think all the information that we needed to have there, we have it now. And now we can test to see if that will happen, or if the code is working. So let me just head on to the browser here. So let me provide the new password. Just call it 321 recover. Yes, so we have a problem somewhere. See the message that we are getting here, which is this error here. That means we did not update the password successfully. Let me first correct this one. So let's first of all check the database and see the name here. I'm thinking that this is a different name. Let me just call it password. We first of all try with that one. I'm thinking this is the name that we have in the database, not password. In the users table, that's the column that we have. Let's try with that one. So let's try to check the database. We still have a problem there. Yeah, so we just trying to see the information that we have in the database to ensure that what we are having in our code matches what we have in the database, which is very, very important. So from there we'll be able to tell where the error is coming from. So just trying to open that. The database should have the users table. Okay, so we have this as password, that is light, and then you have the mail. Yes, and that. Okay, then we should now head to the code and see update users, set password to be equal to pass, which is what we have here. Activation is equals to null. where the mail is equals to email. What we are having here, I'm just trying to see what the problem could be, because we are not even able to get any error. Okay, so here I am back in the reset_inc.php, and I just want to see where the problem is, because we are not being redirected to the login page as you would expect, and that problem could be allowed here, because this is where the redirection should be happening. And when you look at this here, we need to have a full colon, otherwise it will not be redirected properly. So now we can go back to the reset password page, and we can provide the new password here, 456, and here we can toggle 456. Then we try to recover the password. And you can see we are redirected to the login page. Here we are now required to provide the username and the new password. So I can just come and provide the username here, and the password is 456. We can attempt to log in, and you can see now we are successfully logged in into the system. That means the password that we provided was successful.